We're now streaming on YouTube. Fantastic. Thank you, Morgan. Welcome, everybody. You're probably expecting to see Wade Cordell. He's in a convention right now. So, um, speaking at a convention at this exact moment. So, we're not able to have him live. So, I'm covering for him now, and then he's going to get back and help finish up some fundings for us, right? But I appreciate you all being here. I'm going to keep this brief. I've got two subject matters I want to share with you. One is renewals. We're going to talk about renewals. Right now, we have got thousands of fundings, right? Many of you have dozens of fundings. I shouldn't say many. Some of you have dozens of fundings. Some of you only have one or two fundings. As soon as you have a funding occur, your client is on a list that some of our competitors purchase. Okay. So we need to win them over, not just once, but repeatedly, so that you can keep getting renewals. So what I want to make sure you have in place is a renewal system that's in your mind that reaches out to all of your clients after they get funded, even if you've never really had a conversation with them. Because again, the moment they get that funding, they already had to get a FICO score pulled. All of our providers pull a FICO score. And so, and because of the type of provider, Experian and the other credit reports notify, they put it onto a lead list that is someone applying for small business capital. And they sell those lists. It's Experian, it's the credit reporting companies. They're in the business of selling data, not reporting credit. They lead with reporting credit, but really what they're doing is selling the application data to other people. So you can buy trigger leads, they're called, and be notified when someone applies for capital. And then what they do is they call, not always, but sometimes they call, depends on how big the package is, what they're applying for, different credit, FICO scores, et cetera. They then put them on a lead list. I get no less than 10 calls a week because people thought I applied for funding. I tested some systems, looked around. Somehow I'm on a lead list. So I get called all the time. And I've never gotten business funding this way. So your clients are going to get called as well. Just assume it. Maybe they won't, but assume they will. So if you can assume they're going to get called after they get a funding, even as soon as the application process starts, sometimes they'll get a call and they'll say, yeah, hey, you just applied with us. We can get you that offer you're looking for. They don't know anything except that you applied. And they start saying things sometimes, not always. So it's real important that you can make $1,000 plus on some of these fundings, right? 2,000, 4,000, et cetera. And they could get renewals over time. So you want to make sure you've got a follow-up process built in where you're reaching out and engaging with the customer. Okay. So first of all, your first reach out can be what? To congratulate them on their funding. Make sure everything works smoothly. Answer any questions they might have. And it's okay if you don't have an answer, say, I don't know, I'll get you an answer, or put them on a three-way call with a Bank Breezy team, right? So that's the first introductory call. Second call is just, how's it going? Reach out. How have the fundings been helpful? I know you wanted to do ABC with it. Have you pulled that off? How's it coming along? Is it working well? Be in a relationship with them. They're not going to take funding from someone else then. But if you get the funding, make a commission, go, cool, I got paid, and then don't even talk to them anymore. And then as time goes by, they get a call from our competitors or even some of the funders we represent. I don't see that happening, but you just never know. Actually, our teams all reach out to try to get them renewed, but they've got tens of thousands of clients they funded. They don't reach out to everyone every day. Just like we reach out to every Bank Breezy client through email periodically, but we don't call them every day and see if they need renewal funds. That's your job. You're the agent or the affiliate of record. You get paid exceptionally if they renew more than anyone else. So you've got maybe 5 clients to follow up with, not 5,000. So it's a lot easier for you to be the relationship with your client than us or our provider. So make sure you've got your renewal process in, reach out, build relationships, see how it's going, and let them know, hey, by the way, we're always here to get you more funds. If they've had the funding for more than half their term, if they got a 9-month term and they got funded more than 5 months ago, they're ready for renewal. You need to be reaching out to them early. Okay. If they want to get a renewal and they still have money in place. All we need is 3 months bank statements. So all they got to do is email submissions at 3 months bank statements and say they're interested in a renewal. That's it. Email the last 3 months bank statements, tell them I'm interested in a renewal. That's the easiest way to do it. They could start a brand new process. They could go to your website again and apply again and upload the statements there if they want, fill out that whole application again. Sometimes we do need a new application, but the easiest way to find out, we've already got their app on file, get 3 months bank statements. And then from there, we can just email them into submissions, put in the subject line, client interested in renewal, and Bank Breezy goes to work from there. If they need an application, they'll reach out directly to the client. You don't have to collect documents or anything like that. They got to go in through to submissions, not you. Again, if they'd rather just go to your application again and start over and fill it out again, great. In the comments line, just put this is a renewal, something like that. Otherwise, the automated system takes over, doesn't know yet it's a renewal, right? And so, we may it may slow the process, or they may get applied at all the different places again. So you can choose on that, what's ever more convenient for the client. You just want to send in 3 statements. You don't feel comfortable with that, don't send them to you. You can't get those statements. They got to send them to submissions. If you're not comfortable with that, just have them go right into your application again and send them your link again and just say reapply again. It'd take you 10 minutes, but that way the documents are uploaded to a secure site, et cetera, et cetera. Email secure as well, but some people don't feel that. So renewal, it's your job. So you have a reason to reach out, is to just check on them, how that funding has helped. So have a reason, but I'm going to give you one more reason. Tomorrow from 2 to 4, I'm doing something called Founders Day. And I did it today with a few people, tried it. We've got 2 calls scheduled, and I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow. So I'm going to share a link with you right now in the chat room. That right there is a link to a calendar that I've set up with 15-minute increments. And this is only for people who have a client right now that wants to talk to us. So you have a reason to reach out to anyone you've ever funded. Hey, all you got to do is say, I'm working with the founder of David Allen Capital tomorrow. And he has told me that any of my clients that have gotten funding in the past, you can even say any clients who are thinking about getting funding, you can reach out to any prospect you've talked about, any warm market. So it doesn't have to just be a renewal. Any client you want me to talk to, you can schedule it there as long as they're committed to being there. All right. And I don't want you to book a bunch of times and me schedule them. There's only so many 15-minute sections in that period of time. So the link's there. What I'm going to ask you to do is, if you have someone, fill out the schedule. And all you have to do, the reason to call is, the way we've got the 2 calls scheduled today, I told one person, I said, just test this. Tell them you're working with the founder of the company. I'll give you a window of time if they're available. And just say, hey, I'm working with him. He wants to do whatever he can to help you with your funding. He wanted to talk to anyone I'm working with personally. And so if you've ever thought about getting funding, now's the time to check it out. I'll get you right on the phone with the founder of the company, David Allen of David Allen Capital. His middle name's Allen, obviously. So you can rely on that founder call thing and just schedule it. And I'll know going in, you've told them that we're working together today, and I'm wanting to talk to them to see how I can help them get whatever funding is they're looking for. I can answer any questions they might have. So it just helps you. It's another reason to reach out. So if you got anyone who's been kind of thinking about it, I'll check it out. Just reach out and go, hey, I told him, reach out to any clients you've talked to in the past, even. Just say, I know you weren't ready then, but hey, I'm working with the founder of the company today. And so if you want to talk to him at all, he told me any clients that may be interested in funding, he's willing to talk to personally with during this period of time. Are you interested? Because this is when I'm going to be working with him. And so he got 2 calls scheduled where I'm talking to 2 of his clients today, and he just started doing this. So I got a little window of time tomorrow. I've set it aside, said, hey, let's try this. Talked to Wade Cordell about it. He said, hey, you know what? I might be willing to do that too. And maybe we'll start having set times where they're just opportunities where you can schedule live calls with prospective clients or prospective renewals or whatever. Obviously, I'm not the underwriting decision maker, but I can certainly help bring credibility to your clients for you for renewals. or for new prospective clients, anything along those lines. So the calendar's there, first come, first serve. If you've got someone and they're committed, put it up. All we need is their name, their email, your name, name of their company, how much funding they might be looking for, prospective sales. A couple of those fields are required, a couple aren't. And you can fill it out. You don't have to have them fill it out. The individual that I talked to try this, one of the calls, he's not available. So I said, have the guy fill it out himself. I'll talk to him. You don't have to be on the call. So if you got a client who just wants to fill that out themselves, but if you fill it out, you know it's scheduled, right? Otherwise, you don't know. Or unless they tell you. We'll do a three-way call, me, you, and them, or I'll just reach out to them directly. It's not going to be Zoom. Or so if you can't be available, but they are, hey, I got it covered. Encourage them to reach out to me at my mobile number at the pre-appointed time. All right. So that is the Founders Day today. Use it as if I was sitting in your conference room with you and I'm sitting there with you. And you're like, hey, who can I call right now and say, hey, I got the founder sitting right here with me in case they want to talk about it. All right. This is only for business capital. Today, it's not about recruiting. This is, we're going to test this as a Founders Day for business funding. To see if I can help you bring in a client to help them cross that start line. And again, it's a reason, as Matt Dehame always mentions, if you have a reason to reach out, you're not bothering them. Hey, the reason for my call is I happen to be working with the founder of the company, or the reason for my call is you're eligible for renewal now because you're over 50% paid down. Hey, the reason for my call is it's, Women History Month, and I know you got a woman-owned business. Is there anything we might be able to help you with to further that initiative in your company this month? I mean, just come up with a reason for the reach out. It's build a relate. The reason for my call is I saw a great article on X that said, restaurants in the pizza business are expected to have massive growth because of new ingredients in the dough. I don't know, whatever you come up with is a reason. All right, that's it for today. I see a couple questions, so let's take them. Again, in the Calendly link is my link. First come, first serve. Go ahead, Pamela. What do you got? We got Pamela Warnick, and then
can you hear me?
I can hear me. How are you?
Okay. Yeah, I just had a quick question. On a couple Zooms, it's probably been a couple of weeks ago. Wade was talking about funding vape shops and like CBD shops. I know there's a large need in that market. He was going to be checking into something to find out if that might be a possibility to bring some of those businesses on. Do you know the update or the status of that?
I don't know the update on that. I know payment processing, we can't. We got high risk international. As far as business funding, as far as I knew, we always could. If he said he had to check on things, maybe some things have changed. So I don't have an update at this time. I would say
all right, thanks.
them directly, Pamela. Sorry.
All right, that's fine. Thank you.
How you doing, Ellen?
Great, David. Good information today. Thank you. Hey, a couple of questions on the app started emails that we received. For a short period of time, I had requested, would it be possible to add the location of where the client is applying from? And we were receiving what state they were located in. And for some reason, that's not coming through on those, that state location anymore.
Okay. I'll find out what it is not.
And great conversation on renewals and reaching out to clients. My question would be, how are they presenting themselves? Because we have an internal team at Bank Breezy. If they're calling, I'm sure they're saying that, this is Lindsay with Bank Breezy reaching out. If we're as DAC agents and we're reaching out, wouldn't we need to say, this is Ellen with David Allen Capital, partnered with Bank Breezy? How would an agent doing follow-up with their own clients bridge that conversation?
Well, great question, by the way. I'll find out why the state is not populated. I know we added some neat features to our forms to give better data. So maybe that broke the map between state. Not sure. We'll find that out. As far as reaching out, when the Bank Breezy team reaches out to your clients, they're reaching out on behalf of DAC and Bank Breezy. They're not reaching out and say, hey, this is Bank Breezy. They're reaching out and saying, this is Bank Breezy. You partner with DAC. You applied through Ellen Wynn. with business funding. I mean, they're representing us when they reach out. And I would say you would do the same thing, assuming you've already got a relationship with the client. If not, that's a time to reach out and say, hi, they applied at your site. So they never applied at Bank Breezy. They started at your site and went to Bank Breezy. So it didn't originate there. They originated at DAC. So I would say, assuming that they already know who DAC is, but remind them because they dealt with Bank Breezy a lot. I would remind them and say, hi, this is David Rutz with David Allen Capital. You applied through our website for funding, and us and our funding platform, Bank Breezy, took care of you to get that funding. And I'm just reaching out to see how it went. You know, I'm assuming they know your name. If it's all advertisement and they don't know your name and they just went to DAC and maybe they were only on our site for 2 minutes and everything else has been Bank Breezy, I would just remind them, you started your application through David Allen Capital. We're partnered with the funding platform, Bank Breezy. We got you a funding. I'm just reaching out and then continue the conversation.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. That's
Thank
all I
you.
have.
Yep. And by the way, the reaching out is we send out an email to your clients and always have. And our funding partners reach out through email and always have. But I can tell you the targeting of phone calls and texts to your clients has gone way up from the competitors. And so that I would just say to count on Bank Breezy or our funding to talk to the clients. I know you're not stating that, Ellen. That's why I wanted to mention it today. You guys need to become the first responders, take responsibility to make sure, put it on yourself. You have the ability to respond to the competitive nature. They're trying to take your customer from you. You educated them on revenue-based funding. They got it. And now the predators are swirling. The vultures are swirling, buying those leads and calling your client, trying to take them away from you. And so knowing that you're in a competitive environment, we got automated systems reaching out, and periodically we have the bandwidth to reach out by phone as well. And we do that quite a bit. In fact, we got a couple just in the last 2 days that we reached out to, and we're getting them to apply. But we're losing some to competition too. And we know that because they come for funding. And we see they've already got a funding and they didn't get it through us. So they reach back to us eventually, but we go look at their bank statements and they took a fund in between ours and this new one. And that's money we lost, flat out lost. And the agent lost the money too, primarily. The agent lost most. So I'm just letting you guys know from a business perspective, don't let the competitors win. Don't let them win. Edge them out through relationships. What you have, they don't have. It's called relationship. Okay. Go ahead, Matthew.
Hey, buddy. Thank you for, the props. I just want to allude to that about the because, why I'm calling because. But two things back to this new submissions. Your responsibility is to inform them, or initially, right, about this, but also during the process, you also have that responsibility to inform them, or basically protecting them, and also protecting your investment, your interest is that potential client, because you have the most to lose, as you just alluded to. Wade Cordell is our senior funding officer. Write this number down, 803. It's an 803 area code. I just give them that information. If you get another call from anybody else, it's not us. We don't sell your name. Unfortunately, blah, blah, blah. And I've done that. David, you know it, right? How many trigger leads stole my clients initially? This is going back 3 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe. And it was incessant. I was so, talk about the square that stopped my round ball from flying. It just really pissed me off. Knowing that there was nothing I could do about it, right? With them selling the name and information. It became incumbent upon me to protect my client, right, from the predators, right, and in a subtle way. So you have to be careful, because my clients thought, I know this for sure, they thought we were selling their name to the list. Oh, well, you sold my name, So I just let them know up front, just, hey, by the way, I would never sell your information, but unfortunately, blah. You may get a call. I won't tell them they're going to. If you may get a call, it's not beyond my control, but just only take a call from 803. I tell Wade, Wade Cordell is in our funding office is in South Carolina. It's Bank Breezy's our underwriters. So just take the call from them. I'm going to do the best I can. Just ignore those other calls, and I just do that initially. Last night's BizOp was just fantastic. I'm so glad that was uploaded onto the partner page. I'm going to go on a recruiting blitz, not just because of it, but because of the very momentum that we're building. And I feel with the RX thing, this is great. This is really exciting times here, and I really appreciate it. And I like the calendar thing. I'm gonna use that. You might well remove McGuire. But let me get to the thing. I'm calling because it's got to be a legitimate reason, but it's got to be concrete and something substantive that will motivate them to action. And what is that? Hey, I'm calling spring cleanup for landscapers. Think about it, Northeast or parts of the country. You have a legitimate, Women's History Month. I mean, that's going a women's business, but I mean, legitimately, the reason I'm calling is because, I know you're about to do landscapers. We're calling all landscapers because I know you got spring cleanups going on, and you may need extra help. That's why we're giving, I'd say preferential, because you can say that. You can say, I'm going to put you near the front of the line. We're giving preferential treatment or attention to your industry because of the needs. And I just figured I'd let you know, if you do have an opportunity, this would be a good time, blah, 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 whatever. So that's all. It's very, 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 all is good. All is good, David. It's very positive. I see your piano back there. That better be tuned. I'm just kidding. But I really am very excited. Oh, so just last thing, superstar, world competitor athlete Juliet, our DAC agent Juliet, is going to be promoting our free flat fee RX membership platform. She's going to get the decals on her board. She's going to promote it. Big social influencer. So I'm looking forward to great things. And she sees that because she saw. I want you guys to know. She's like, outside of this, I'm like, Jules, you want to look at this and take a look and tell me what you think. What's your gut feeling about it? These are the facts. 160 million people in the country, an over-medicated country. We know that. We don't believe in them personally. We believe in prevention, but you got 160 million people on meds. Great percentage of them, almost half, can barely afford it, or most can't afford it at all. You tell me what you think. Are you doing a good service for these people? Do you feel good about helping those people save like 80, 90% of what they're paying right now anyway? Yes. Do you feel good about it? Yes. You saw it. Once you saw it, you said, oh, I can fund my my career with this, like by getting regular residual income from all of these customers that need this, and they're saving money. And I get $5, per customer. Once I get 200, I'm going to get 1,000. So she sees it. So it's just like conveying the A to B, the C, connect the dots is what I'm kind of getting at here. And it's once you can do that, become very good, become a professional dot connector is what I want to try to say. And once those that do best in this kind of thing, and I'm reminding myself of what I used to do well, that's because I was a very good dot connector. And I allowed people to think for themselves. You tell me what you think. If A goes to B and B goes to C, what do you think about D? Do you think it's worth A, B, and C? And they're like, yeah, and I'll do A, B, and C because D is a win-win, and that's it. So lay it out.
Love it, Matthew. And I'm updating the calendar. Don't use the one I gave you. I can't edit the description. So I'm creating a new one right now. I'll have it posted here in 2 minutes. So ignore that link I shared. I'm creating a brand new one. I saw there was another question though. Morgan, if you can pull that in, I'll answer that while I schedule this.
Yeah. And I did remove that link from the chat. So
thank you.
Wow. You already clicked it. Just ignore it, but it's not in there anymore. All right, we've got Fred. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good morning, Dave. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. How you doing?
Okay, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for this morning. I just had one question. Can you share with us the type of industry or business that you see coming through that's getting most of the fundings?
It depends on the month and because of seasons, but it's always retail. I mean, anyone who's doing regular revenue, daily, like restaurants, construction companies are good. I would just say the preferred industries in our list. There's anytime I say this, people focus on an industry, and that's not I say focus on your market rather than the type of business.
Right. Okay.
Your warm market's where you're going to have the most results, your local market. But outside of
Right.
that, retail is very big because our revenue providers love those because they produce regular revenue. And
Right.
they usually have needs to grow, expansion needs, inventory needs. When I'm focused on this space and I'm not focusing locally, I go after uh, construction, roofing trades, plumbers, because they're always larger fundings. So if I'm I'm going to reach out to 20 business today that I don't know, I'm going after a trades.
Okay.
It's worth the investment of time. Smaller, low hanging fruit, $30,000 funding, nail salons, hair salons, restaurants are easy. Those are all
Okay.
over. There's millions of them. So if you're looking at how do I get my fundings going, I'd say retail, which includes restaurants, salons, hair salons, anything in a retail, corner retail complex.
Right.
That's
Right.
what I mean.
Okay. Okay. The last 3 or 4 days, I have just picked out a street, and I count out 20 brochures that I have. And I go down the street, door, 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 until all 20 are gone. And then after that, I call it a quit. I call it quits for hitting businesses that day. And I do that every day. So whatever's in that street or in that section, everybody gets an introduction to Bank Breezy.
That's awesome.
So it's
That's beautiful. You're canvassing as a customer right there, and you're canvassing a local market.
okay. Okay. All righty. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. All right. I'm updating the form. Any other questions?
Yes, we do have 2 more hands up. So we have Harlequin. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, David, happy Wednesday.
Thank you.
I just wanted to give a true story that happened to somebody that I was working with that had gotten funded from us. And he was on a trigger lead list and ended up getting after he got funded from us, he got a call from another lender who said, "Oh, well, we can get you more money at a lower cost." And he went ahead and he took that money and paid our funding off. And the challenge is that we had offered him only so much because that's what he could afford to pay. Whenever he took that higher funding amount, he couldn't afford it. And after a couple of months, he missed a few payments. And so they went and they said, "Hey, you're now in default of the loan. We're calling the loan due." And they literally emptied his bank account every single morning. And the next phone call I received was, "Harlequin, can you help me find somebody that will help me sell my business? Because I can't do this." He was a restaurant. He couldn't afford to buy chicken to sell in his chicken restaurant. But those are some of the types of lenders that are buying those trigger leads. And that's what we're helping to keep our clients safe from.
Yeah, thank you for that, Harlequin. Yeah, there's, one and done is most of the industry. They just want a commission now. They'd like renewals, but they're on quotas. They got to hit certain numbers this week. They're going to get a yes, however they can, and they're going to overpromise and get someone a funding they can't approve. And sometimes they're helping to push a deal through by not being honest with the underwriters. And, we've heard all kinds of things that, well, I disclosed that and I disclosed that. But yet the underwriter never heard that because the sales guy or gal on the phone holds things close to the vest that they know that can hurt the deal. We're the exact opposite. We don't want to hurt the client. We know what they can afford to repay based on their current sales in their industry. And if we give them more than they can afford, they're going to be in the situation this customer's in. Some of our clients end up in a bad spot because their sales dip and we approved them on a higher amount, but most of our agreements have a clause that say if sales dip, we'll modify your payment. So that's pretty neat. Thank you though, Harlequin. And I did put the new scheduling calendar up there. We're going to try this. If there's not interest, then we'll stop doing it. But I know personally, when I was in the field as a rep working with someone else who was the founder of the company and it wasn't me, man, if I knew the founder, if I was going to be at that founder's office for 2 hours and that founder would meet with anyone I brought, I was bringing people. right? Because so this is an opportunity to see if you can have a reason to call and get someone on the appointment. Letitia is on. Letitia Shirley, if you want to go, you'll be our last question for the day. Thank you.
Yes. I just have a question back to what Fred was saying for some of the like business companies for like
Types of
funding,
businesses?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I've been reaching out to some like businesses and emailing, sending them some information, talking about DAC. Have I gotten a good feedback back? Not really, but so I just wanted to find out too for like restaurants, you said trades, nail salons and stuff like that to reach out to. What about creative marketers, like creative marketing? Like,
as far as
is
getting,
that something good too? That would you think that like 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 a Canva or something, or like those type of businesses, would it be good to reach out to like that market as well, that would probably
to
want
borrow money, you mean?
funding
To get
yeah,
funding?
like
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So let's look at this from a point of view of what do the underwriters want and what type of funding they do. And then the businesses that fit that are the right ones to
Yeah.
approach. You're going to have a higher approval. So the underwriters are not asking for collateral, right? And they're not asking for anything but predictability of revenue and fairly good bank statements based on the revenue they're doing, which means they got to assume the revenue is going to continue because that's the only way they're getting paid back. So, and they like frequency of revenue, meaning how often are you getting sales? So if you're an online membership like a Canva and you're doing sales every day and memberships every day are coming in and it's highly unlikely that they're going to go out of business, then yeah, that's a great thing. Membership communities. But if you're talking about a creative marketer in your neighborhood who only gets 4 clients a month, and even if they're big clients, 10,000 each, there's no guarantee that next month those clients are going to need them. It could be a one and done project, and they may not do any revenue next month. Just because they did 30,000 this month doesn't guarantee they're going to do 30,000 next month. Same with roofing companies. If you only got 2 roofs this month, it doesn't matter you did 70,000. You only got 2 clients. What happens if next month you don't get any clients? So the number of deposits matters. That's why they look at your bank statements. They're looking at how many times do they have a deposit go in their bank. Retailers, it's every day. They take credit cards. So there's deposits every single day, and those are likely. They're not going to shut their restaurant door tomorrow, usually. So they're going to sell lunches and dinners and breakfast next month too, and the following month. So certain businesses, if they're not going to do predictable revenue, they're very high risk. Immediately, they could have a 900 credit score, if that even exists. They're high risk because their business is a high risk industry, or their way they're getting paid. I remember one of my first clients was a trucking company, and they were doing $70,000 a month. And I figured I could get them. They wanted $110,000. And I figured we might be able to get them something like this. And then I looked at it was actually an event company. It wasn't just a trucking company, it was an event company. They did events for BMW and staged their showrooms and corporate events and all kinds of stuff. The problem is they had one customer, BMW, and BMW paid them once a month. They couldn't get approved. I couldn't get them approved anywhere. And they said, because it doesn't matter you're doing 80,000, you have one deposit a month. And if that a client goes away, you're gone. So these are all by understanding the what they're looking for, frequency of deposits, consistency that deposit will happen, the predictability that'll continue, bank statements that aren't hurting, bouncing checks, NSFs from their current revenue. Because if they're already bouncing checks with current revenue and we give them money, can they afford to pay us every day? Not if their sales don't go up. So there's certain things they look for, and then they determine what you can afford to pay per day, and that becomes your offer based on how many days they'll give you the money in the offer. So as far as industries, revenue generating, regular, consistent are the best industries to go to. Frequency of deposits helps. Number of NSFs hurts. As far as your email efforts and your walking in and giving cards efforts, typically for every 40 business owner conversations you have where they've actually heard you out, you'll get an application. I don't know how many emails that is because we don't know how many emails are going to get opened by how you write them. In our email training, we say you need to have a specific subject line specific to that business or it probably will not get open. And we always teach, don't say business funding, just say something else, like saw your company in the yellow pages as the subject line, or saw your business. I left 5 voicemails last week, early morning, and each one of them were, I drove to a Starbucks and I took pictures of 5 things along the way that I knew weren't open. And I purposely called them before they open. Said, hey, I just drove by to get a Starbucks right up at the corner, and I drove by your dental office. I didn't want to forget to reach out. So I just want to introduce myself. They're going to hear that opening line, just drove by your office. They know I'm local. You can do the same thing with an email. You can do the same thing with a phone call. So make it a private email so that more get opened. But business owner conversations aren't emails, right? You might get some because you're going to reach out to a lot more. But I would then say maybe it's every 80 emails that gets open and read, might get an application. So it's not going to be near as effective as a private conversation. That's why our training starts with all the business owners, then canvassing as a customer, then canvassing your local market. Local's always better than national, than going outside your state. Local can be an industry. So what I would encourage you do, if you're done with your local market or you live in a rural area and there isn't a local market, you can still call your state, businesses in your state, because that's still more local, especially if it's not New York, because most of the calls that people are receiving are New York or Florida. If you're not New York or Florida and you're in business funding, you're usually local. Stay in your local state. Or go to your local industry. Pick an industry that you have an affinity for. If you're a surfer, maybe it's skate shops, ski shops, adventure shops, kayak shops, those type things become where you focus. If you're a singer, maybe you're going to musical instrument stores, music lessons. And so pick something that's an affinity for you. And with that, promote in that industry. Hun, can you wait 1 second on that? Hey, Michaela? She's got her beats on. Michaela, honey. Excuse me 1 minute. Just doing dishes. That's entertainment. That's live for you. She's a singer and she's got her beats on. That's what made me think of appealing to your local music industry. So that's what I mean by picking industry local. It doesn't have to be vicinity local, but it's localized to what you're focused on. If you're a dentist, hey, maybe you're going to dental supply companies and dentist offices, so pick your passion and focus there and say, I love to help businesses that are music teachers. I love to help nail salons. I love to help whatever it is that you, would love to help. So hopefully that was helpful. I think I've got a couple chats here. So I just want to read these before we part ways. Thank you, Harlequin. It is for reasons we'll share another time. I'm just reading a chat here. It's quite long and they want me to speak to this. So you can go if you need to go, of course. Will funds be, the bottom line is they're asking if someone getting money, if someone borrowed today, will they have to start repaying day one? Yes. Obviously a line of credit's different. If someone gets a line of credit, they don't pay until they take money out, and they pay as they got draw. It's like a credit card. You don't have to pay until you've taken the money, but then it starts immediately after that, weekly. As soon as you take a draft, you pay for it weekly. But our working capital advances, you pay immediately the next. If you're on daily payments, it's the day you get the funds today, Wednesday, Thursday, you'll have a payment. If you get paid today, money's in your account today, tomorrow you're already starting to pay back daily. So yeah, it's an immediate daily payback. So that way, by the time your first month is up, you've paid a month's worth of payments, and you're current. If it's a weekly payment, then the following week, after you get the money today, a week from now, or whatever that first date is generally same day, but a week later it starts. So yes, they pay immediately. Line of credit's different, of course. All right, guys. Well, renewal list. Don't let the vulture steal your clients. Don't let them steal them. Don't let them get them in the first place. Reach out to everyone you know. Talk to them. Talk to any clients who've thought about it. If you can benefit from tomorrow's founder call with me and you want to reach out to some people, put it on the schedule. I'm happy to give that a try, 15 minutes, and help your clients see the value. Thank you, Letitia. I'm glad this helped. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wonderful. She's doing warm market. She's doing everything in the training as well. That's great news.